Croeso, I'm Ross, and I'm reading today from this school book, 1936 this was published. So that's before World War II. So to get different perspective, this was done for schools, written by H.T. Evans, and there's a number of stories in here. And what I'm going to pick out is, to read today, is Owain Glyndwr, which is chapter 16 in this book. Now, Owain Glyndwr is a massive figure in Welsh history. There's whole books written on him, so this is just one story about him rather than his whole story. You should really find out more about Owain Glyndwr, a very important character. Right, so I'll read from the book. Anyone who knows even a little of the story of Wales will have heard of Owain Glyndwr, for he is certainly one of the greatest figures in Welsh history. If the Welsh people were asked to choose, they would probably select him as their most popular hero. Owain Glyndwr was descended from a Welsh prince. His home was situated near the banks of the River Dee, close to the English border. In after years, there are many stories told about him, and one of those legends say that blood was seen running from the stables when he was born. This was looked upon as a certain sign that Glyndwr's life would be spent amid scenes of bloodshed and slaughter. Nearly 100 years before, led by Llewellyn Bren, who we'll do on another story, the Welsh of Glamorgan had risen against their English enemies. They had good reason for their discontent. They had to pay very heavy taxes to their lords. They had to do extra and unusual work on the lords' farms for which they received no wages. Welsh farmers, though their lands were really their own, were called upon to pay rent for them. English stewards, bailiffs, and tax collectors were harsh and cruel. Great English lords, having power with the king, that's the King of England, stole the lands of the Welsh farmers who were unable to get justice in the courts of law. Owain Glyndwr himself was one of those who suffered. Near at hand lived Lord Grey of Rhuthun, a very dangerous neighbour. He wanted to secure some of Owain's lands, so following the usual custom, he took it and then challenged Owain to take it back if he could. Owain did not lack courage, and he at once took up the challenge. He had another reason for his quarrel with Grey. When the King of England wanted Owain's assistance, he sent a message by means of this Lord Grey. It was purposely kept back by Lord Grey, so that Owain did not receive the royal command until it was too late. Grey took advantage of this chance and told the king that Owain was a traitor. This was too much for Owain's patience. He summoned his friends and they made a fierce attack upon all the towns and villages in the neighbourhood. They set fire to buildings and drove away the cattle. This was the beginning of another bitter struggle between the Welsh and English. During the next few years, there was a good deal of fighting. Owain soon realised that he could not hope to beat the English in pitched battles, for his soldiers were too few. He chose rather to attack the English at a number of different points, doing as much damage as he could to the enemy lands. Early in the war, he captured his enemy, Lord Grey. The ruin made by Glyndwr's army was pitiful. The English troops were equally cruel and harmful. Once they went into the very heart of Wales, to the old Abbey of Strata, Florida. They stabled their horses near the high altar of the abbey and did damage that was never afterwards repaired. Moreover, the English king, Henry IV, angry because he could not conquer Owain, carried away 1,000 little Welsh children. What became of these little boys and girls thus cruelly taken from their homes is not known. Owain met with great success, and his word was law in nearly all the country west of the River Severn and the River Dee. He took the title of Prince of Wales. The King of France was his ally and sent troops to help him, while the Pope gave Owain his blessing. When at the height of his power, he summoned a parliament which met at Machynlleth. Visitors to that mid-Wales town could still see the ruins of the building where Owain's parliament held their meetings. It is interesting to note that what probably have taken place in Wales, if Owain Glyndwr had been successful in the end, he would most certainly have carried on with the Parliament at Machynlleth, where laws would have been made for Wales, quite apart from England. It is almost as certain that he would have freed the Welsh Church from the Church of England so that the bishops of Wales might be independent of the Archbishop of Canterbury. He would probably have established an archbishopric at St. David's, and in this way the dream of Gerald the Welshman would have been realised. He would have formed 2 colleges in Wales, one for North Wales and one for the South Wales, so that young Welshmen and women could be taught in their own country and have no need to go to Oxford or Cambridge. It was because he tried to give Wales these advantages that he has held such a warm place in the hearts of Welshmen, right through the centuries down to the present day. Owain did not succeed in his attempt to make Wales free and independent. He could not keep his armies in the field for any length of time, while the English king always had large forces at his command. When his cause became utterly hopeless, Owain disappears suddenly. No one knows to this day when he died or where he was buried. Till the next time, Heddwch.